Well, we have a real treat today here at Norwood Day. We are with our fabulous Congressman, Stephen Lynch. Congressman Lynch, welcome to Norwood Day.
Oh, it's great to be with you, Jerry. Great to be with you. You know, this is probably my 15th Norwood Day, and I don't think it has ever rained or ever been cloudy. It's always been, you've got incredible luck here. And not only Norwood Day, but also the 4th of July parade that we do every year. It's always spectacular that day as well. So, and it is packed today. I'm not sure the viewers can see, but all the way down Washington Street from end to end is just packed with people. So really, really nice to see. And a lot of kids, a lot of activities. I see John Rogers has the bouncy castle going again this year, and we can't get him out of there, you know. But yeah, so it's really nice. Good to see everybody.
Well, and you know, I should mention that the Congressman was trying for 20 minutes to get over to our booth here at Norwood Day and was getting stopped.
It's great. You know, I get to see so many people in a matter of, it'll probably take us 2 hours to walk up the street, but it's good to see everyone.
So let's talk a little bit. There's a lot going on at on the Hill these days.
There is. Not all of it good. There's a lot going on.
What do you want to talk about? What do you want our Norwoodians to know about?
Well, we're trying to figure out a number of big issues. The budget, obviously, that's important for Norwood, for the Department of Public Works, transportation money. You know, we've got some area projects that are relying on federal funding. You know, there's bridge money, road money, infrastructure funding. So that's very important to a lot of the local communities. We've also got some major issues on immigration that are coming up. You know, President Trump has just canceled the deferred action on children.
Right.
So that's an issue. I think we're going to take that up in the next 6 months. It's a big issue. We need to secure our borders, but we also have to recognize the reality that there are some young people here that were brought into the country as children, and to block them from being educated and becoming productive citizens is not the way that we should be going. So we need to figure that out. We really do. And you know, there are a bunch of other issues that we're confronted with. The president has rolled out a new plan on Afghanistan.
Right.
You know, I've been in and out of that country probably a dozen times as well, probably 20 times to Iraq as well. And we need to have a strategy rather than just adding more troops. That's not the answer. We've had as many as 100,000 troops in Afghanistan, so I don't think adding 5,000 or 10,000 more is really a coherent strategy. So there's no shortage of challenges in Washington, but I just want people to know that there is a sense of ownership in terms of Congress trying to deal with these problems. We've got to ask the far extreme right and the far extreme left to sort of calm down, and let's try to get together and work on some of these issues together. We can't be kicking each other in the shins and you know, and name calling and that sort of thing. We've really got to try to settle down and do what's best for America. So whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, we've got some big issues that we have to confront out there, and we've got to meet in the middle somewhere. There's going to be some compromise. You know, people are going to have to settle for 80% of what they want instead of 100%. But there's a compromise there. So that's the attitude that I think will help us to get out of some of our problems. Not the extremist stuff that unfortunately we're seeing come out of the White House at times. But something more moderate that I think is reflective of the people of Norwood, to be honest with you. We have an area here where I think people, you know, they love their country. They work hard every single day. They do the right thing. They're trying to raise their kids in an environment that will leave their kids in a better position than the previous generation. People pay attention to the schools here. They honor their veterans. You know, Teddy Mulvihill, couldn't get a better veteran service officer than Teddy Mulvihill. And, you know, they respect family. And, you know, I think look, Norwood's a wonderful reflection of what's best about America, to be honest with you. And, you know, when we think about our government in Washington, people should be thinking about places like Norwood. That's really the heart of our country, and you know, it's not always the case.
Yeah, you know, and very well said, Congressman. The other thing is, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up, as we shoot this, we finished Harvey, we're in the midst of Irma, we have Jose. I know there's a lot of action up in Washington about trying to help.
Right. So yesterday we passed an emergency funding bill, about $15 billion. That included not only Houston and Hurricane Harvey, but also it anticipates the losses that will occur in Florida. So they will have immediately funding to try to deal with that. Unfortunately, because of the nature of the storm in Houston, it didn't affect just coastal areas that might have flood insurance. 80% of the families had no insurance because they weren't in flood zones, and it was just relentless rain that really, you know, caused most of the problems. And now in Florida, they've got the largest Atlantic storm in recorded history. So they're in for some tough times. I've got my in-laws have a place in Marathon Keys, not too far from Key West, and so they're going to be hit first. I think they were hit, or they're going to be hit. Yeah, today's Saturday, so sometime today.
Yeah, well, thoughts and prayers down there. How about the North Korea situation?
Yeah, North Korea is an active concern. We've got an unstable leader in Kim Jong-un. You know, a lot of people forget that we never really had a peace treaty at the end of the Korean War, and that is the signal event, the Korean War, for the North Koreans. We have a ceasefire in place. I've been up to the DMZ and the line of demarcation between North and South Korea. We've got about 30,000 troops in South Korea, U.S. troops. So they're actively concerned about some of the recent activity. Kim Jong-un's regime has detonated a major nuclear weapon. We're not sure yet if it was a hydrogen bomb, but we believe it's about 10 times as strong as their last detonation. And as well, they've had some missile launches, overflights over Japan, our neighbors. So we've had two UN Security Committee meetings in the past 2 weeks. That includes, you know, Russia and China, as well as France, Great Britain, and ourselves. And you know, I know that our military has stepped up our presence. We have a carrier group right now. I believe it is with Ronald Reagan that's in Japan right now, and then we have another in the region as well. So we're taking the proper military actions and precautions, but I think the ultimate solution has to be diplomatic. We don't want to get into a nuclear confrontation with North Korea, but it's very difficult to deal with someone who I think is psychologically imbalanced.
Yeah, unstable is probably,
yeah,
you know, exactly right. Yeah, and we've got with our president too. Sometimes you don't necessarily know, right?
Yeah. You know, we don't want to escalate the rhetoric because sometimes that leads us to a bad place. Better to, as I think one of the Roosevelts said, you know, speak softly and carry a big stick. I'm not sure who said that, but maybe it was Truman. I'm not sure. Yeah.
we'll have to look that
But I think that's, you know, I think the world is looking for us to be the adult in the room, and you know, we've got to meet that obligation.
Well, Congressman, you know, we thank you for everything. Any final thoughts? Because I know you've got like a lot of mileage to do here today.
Yeah. This is a joy. This is not work.
Right.
I got a bag of kettle corn, and I'll be happy for the next couple of hours just getting around to see everybody. I just it's okay. It's all right. He's one of us. That's okay. That's okay. It made a cameo, but look. I guess for me, the only message I would like to say is that I am tremendously honored that the people of Norwood, you know, I announced my campaign at the gazebo over there when I first ran for office for the United States Congress, and I chose Norwood for a lot of reasons. But
what, 17 years ago or so?
Yeah, 17 years ago. Yeah. So I just want the people of Norwood to know that I know why they sent me there to Washington, and I appreciate the honor they've given me, and I work every day to try to meet their highest expectations. I love to work, but I love this job as well. It's a special responsibility, and I just want them to know that I'm thinking of them in the decisions that I make. And you know, we've done a fair number of town meetings and I've spoken recently at a town meeting here in Norwood, and the feedback I get is very important, to know what people are thinking and to stay close. And you know, I'll probably get a lot of recommendations. The funny thing is, here in Norwood, people will say, "Tell Trump, blah, blah, blah." I say, okay, let me write that down, you know? Yeah, but yeah, they're very free with their opinions. There are no shy people in Norwood. I've come to realize that. But I love Norwood. It's a second home for me. We've got some great representatives here, you know, John Rogers, Helen Abdullah Donahue, you know, Bill Plasko, you know, Alan. You know, they've all been here for years. A lot of them. You got some new faces as well. You know, representing the town. You got Chief Brooks is wonderful. You know, on national security issues, and he's been tremendous. All of our firefighters and police very much dedicated. So we've got all the great ingredients of a wonderful town. I just want people to know that I'm fighting for them in Washington each and every day.
Well, Congressman Lynch, we are so lucky that you are. It's been an honor.
An honor for me, Jerry. Thank you.
Thank you for joining
Thanks
us.
for taking the time.
Thank you.
And thanks to Norwood Public Access. I really appreciate, you know, the work that you do in keeping an eye on the local issues. You know, some of the things don't make the big, you know, the network TV, but they're incredibly important to people here in Norwood. And Norwood Public Access does a wonderful job in informing people about the issues more local and directly around. Oh, thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that.
All right, Jerry.
And speaking of that, on our last episode, we were up at the Cleveland School looking at some of the improvements that were happening over the summer. We're going to take a look at the finished product right now.
Hi, Paul Riccardi here at the Cleveland School. I'm from the Buildings and Grounds Department for the school department. It is the first week in October, and this is just a little look back at what we've accomplished over the summer here at the Cleveland School. As you remember from the July update, we were trying a new dry stripping process on the floors that had already been replaced, and the custodians down there did a dry strip, and it came out really well. So going forward, we're going to be able to reduce the amount of stripping material that we use on the floors, and we'll be going with the dry stripping. We also went in and replaced all of the kitchen equipment, basically, new ovens and a new serving line, so that at the beginning of the school year, we were away from what I'm going to call the TV dinners, and we're now to cook the same morning fresh food, basically in bulk, that the kids have a lot more choices from. And so far it seems to be a success. Food service department tells me that kids are buying more food and eating more healthy food, so that's really good. And the rest of the work that we did was we finished up the removal of all the old original floors that were in the cafeteria, 6 classrooms, the stage, and the library. That's all been replaced, and the floors have been resealed and waxed, and we are in tremendous shape. If anyone is ever down to the Cleveland, just take a look around, and I think you'd be impressed that the work that the custodians do to keep this school in great shape. Thank you.
So we're continuing with the important people here at Norwood Day, and I'm here with President of the Bank of Canton and also Chairman of our Economic Development Committee, Steve Costello. Steve, welcome.
Happy Norwood Day to everyone. Great day. Come on down, enjoy the festivities.
So let's talk about, I'm going to talk about the Economic Development Committee in a second, but I'm going to talk about Bank of Canton and the wonderful partnership that you have with a lot of groups here in town. And you've got one now. You're helping to promote a raffle for the Hall of Fame, correct?
Well, we're a community bank, so we actually have 2 raffles going on. We're limiting the number of tickets to 100. It's $20. It's to a Fenway Park game on September 25th or to a concert by Arcade Fire. And I can personally attest the seats are great. So come on down. Buy a chance for $20. You have a 1 in 100 chance of winning, and it goes to great causes. The Fine Arts program and music program here at Norwood High, and or to the Norwood High Hall of Fame.
Awesome. And again, we appreciate the partnership with Bank of Canton. Let's talk about Economic Development Committee. What's coming up for the committee?
Well, actually, our next meeting is next week, so we will have a better handle on what's coming up. Our most recent effort had focused on the TIF for Moderna. That building is under construction. We hope to have occupancy very shortly, and there'll probably be a grand opening announcement. So you can't rest on your laurels. Norwood has a great story to tell. We just need to keep telling it.
Awesome. So any other words besides come down and get a raffle ticket?
Come on down, buy a raffle ticket, help the Hall of Fame, help the Parent Music Association, and have a great Norwood Day.
Super. Thanks again, Steve Costello.
Great. Thank you all.
The Norwood Senior Center's mission is to identify the needs and promote services for older adults. The center is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and during the summer they remain open until 8 p.m. on Tuesday evenings. To contact them, call 781-762-1201 or visit www.norwoodma.gov.
All right, so we're still walking around the room, and we are here with another longtime town meeting member, Courtney Rao Rogers, District 5. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, Jerry. How are you doing?
So, Courtney, why did you first get involved in town meeting?
I first ran for town meeting when I was on the school committee, and I would get a de facto vote as being when I was chair of the school committee, but I wouldn't be able to vote on the other issues. And the budget was really important to me. Having worked on it on the school side, I wanted a chance to continue to contribute to town meeting and contribute to the budget conversations in the town. So the 2 elections ago, not only did I run for school committee, I ran for town meeting as well and was elected. And I really enjoy this. I like seeing how government works. I like hearing the questions from the residents. It keeps me informed. It keeps me in touch. So I'll continue with town meeting. It's a nice level to be at right now.
Now, obviously you talked about the schools, but what else are you passionate about that we go over in town meeting?
I'm always interested in what goes on the specials and what comes up on the warrants that a lot of people deem as extra. You know, when we were on budget balancing, we had a lot of conversation about town side balancing, school side balancing, and the schools seem to wrestle with that publicly more. But then the town would balance their budget, but then there's article after article about asking for additional money. What interests me is sort of doing the mental math on all of that and seeing where the shortfalls really are and what, as a town, we probably need to start focusing on to bring the whole town forward, not just the schools, not just the town side, but everybody. Because we need to pay the police, we need to pay the fire, we need to keep the town looking nice, the cemetery needs the upkeep, it's a beautiful resource. There's so much that this town has to offer, and we need to budget appropriately for it.
All right, so that's just a really important question. Your mother and your sister are both in town meeting, but you only sit with your mother. Is there a reason for that?
So before I was a town meeting member, this used to be the non-member section, and I sort of liked being back here so I could see the whole body. it's a nice bird's eye view back here, so I sort of kept the seat when I didn't have to sit up front with the school committee. I liked sitting back here. And my mom sits up here because she likes to be close to the aisle, but Colleen and Darren, I think, sit back there to be troublemakers, I'll be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I think they're kind of heckling you down there.
They're totally heckling me.
All right, last question for you. For someone who might be wondering whether or not they should run for town meeting, what would you say to them?
I would say if you are here for a long-term commitment to the town, if you are recently moving in and planning on staying, certainly if you have kids in the town, or if you are a homeowner, or even a renter that wants to know what's happening, run for town meeting, because it's the best way to see what your neighbors are concerned about, see what the people across town are concerned about, and see how we can work together to make this the great place we all know it is.
Super. Well, thank you from the rouse section of town meeting.
We should get a banner, the rouse section. I like it.
All right, continuing with the who's who of Norwood Day, we have with us today Mike Driscoll, who's, you're going to tell me what.
I'm the general foreman of the Parks and Highways for the DPW.
DPW. So as everybody knows, our DPW guys are integral to Norwood Day, and Mike's going to tell us a little bit about everything that the guys are doing to get us ready, and then I'm assuming they're going to clean this up too, right?
Yes, we'll clean it up. So it all starts probably Friday. We clean up the Coakley and get all the barricades ready for the fireworks. And then that's all blocked off. We block the streets off, no parking signs. That's the easy part, you know. And then this morning my crew is here at 6 a.m. and we block the streets off. This year we're following the lead of the Boston parade and the fireworks, and we're using our Sanders and trucks as blocks in most of the big intersections. So if you saw them down here, and it's great because it's easier on my guys because we're not moving as many barricades, and there's no way we're going to have anyone crashing through.
Right.
You know, so this is safety, and it's this is the first year we've done it. And it worked out really well so far.
You know, it's funny because I was looking at that, and people are actually thinking that's part of one of the attractions at Norwood Day. So people are going up to the trucks and
they're there, and everything's all locked up, and they can look at them, and it's like our Touch a Truck Day.
Right.
But it really works. It blocks off that whole intersection. It helps the Norwood police, you know, easier on them. You know, it's easier on the DPW, and it went fairly smooth this morning. So
now, it was 6 a.m., and I think you got some breakfast in there, too?
Norwood Diner does a breakfast. The rec department sets up a great thing where the football players come at 6 a.m. They have a breakfast from Norwood Diner. You know, and then we close the streets down probably about 6:15, 6:30, somewhere around there. And, you know, we set up so that the vendors, the tables, the football players, you know, take the tables off the truck and they line washing the street with the tables and chairs. Then DPW brings in the bleachers from the Marshfield Fair that we borrow. And they help us set that up by the bandstand. You know, trying to get all the petting zoo down here, all the barricades set up for the petting zoo and the horses, the pony rides. And this year they're doing the pizza instead of
the food.
The food.
Yeah.
Which, you know, will be cool. We'll try to figure out who will have the best pizza in Norwood.
So now, and you know, while we're talking, there's somebody like throwing their trash behind us, Mike. So I'm kind of getting kicked in. Look, what about cleanup? Cleanup must be pretty. That's a big job, right?
It's not as bad as 4th of July. 4th of July, you have all of Washington Street. This year, we take the trash barrels, and I have 4 guys that will walk Washington Street constantly. We have 1-tons parked on the side roads that they're able to throw the trash, and the liners would be in those trucks. You know, and then at the end of the day, we have the roll-off container, and they empty the 1-tons there. About 3 o'clock, all the vendors will start pulling out. And Travis from the rec department has got consider it done with his sweeper. DPW has our Elgin sweeper coming in. And my foreman Dave Artuca will blow everything off the sidewalks and pick up all the trash barrels. And then the sweepers will just buzz through, and if everything goes well, by 6 p.m., maybe 7, Washington Street will be open, and everything will be
like this never happened.
You know, so all the sanders will put away all the 1-tons, and you know, we're having great weather to do this. And
that's amazing. That's amazing. And then tomorrow everybody sleeps, right?
No, well, tomorrow, yes. Tomorrow everyone's, you know, and then Monday we'll have the crews picking up all the European barricades, and they all go back into storage. And you know, we have to bring all the feet plate benches back to Marshfield Fair, where we borrow them along with the picnic tables. And then everything goes back to normal on Tuesday.
Oh, awesome. Well, Mike, your crew does an incredible job. So
thank you.
We want to thank you. This is amazing.
Thank you very much. They really work hard.
Super. All right. Well, we'll be right back. Continuing with our series of town meeting members at Norwood Day today, we managed to find Jean Taylor, who is one of the strong town meeting members. So Jean, how long have you been a town meeting member?
Too long? I think mine is working. No, I've been actually over 30 years with one short break.
All right. So, short break. Why did you get involved in town meeting to begin with, Jean?
I think everybody should be involved in town meeting. I've always been involved in the political aspects of town, and it's just a logical place to be because that's where the decisions are made. And I didn't always agree with decisions that were being made, and I felt maybe I could make a difference.
So what would you say, Jean, to someone who might be on the fence about whether to put themselves out for town meeting? What would your advice be?
Keep an eye on the town meetings, see how many things you agree with, how many things you don't agree with, because that one vote can change an entire vote. Keep an eye on what issues are around town, and get to know the people that are in office. I think that's really, really important. Get to talk to them, ask them what their opinions are, how they feel about things, why they ran for selectmen. I think it's, yeah, I think that would be what to do. Touch base with people that are already in office.
And then last question for you. I know you were involved in a lot of things around town. Tell us a little bit about all the things that you do besides town meeting. And the list is long.
You know, in the last few years, I've been stepping back from a lot of the things because I'm getting older, but also because I think new blood, you need the new ideas, you need new blood. I mean, I was the chairman of the Downtown Steering Committee. I was involved with starting the Friends of Norwood Center. You know, and honestly, I always thought that everybody was involved. And I ended up, and I'm sharing this because I think it's important for the younger people, I got a full boat scholarship to school, 4 years, to get my degree. And that was on community involvement. So, you know, and when I looked at it, I went, wow, how come everybody doesn't do this? And I thought everybody did. So, and do I feel like I've made a difference? And I'm asking that question. You know what, I do. I do, and that's why I came back to town meeting, because I was watching some of the votes, and yeah, I didn't agree with all of them, which is okay. You know, I'm not always right, but you can make a difference. You can make a difference.
Well, well said. Jean, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for asking me.
And thank you for all you do for our town.
Thank you.